Howdy folks, TJ here. Time to talk a little bit about ebb and flow of retro. What does that mean? Well, some of us have multiple hobbies, and you may have what they call ebbs and flows of you being into your particular hobby. Sometimes certain weeks you're more into it, other weeks not so much. And then there may be lots of lulls in your action, or all you do is retro and nothing else. This is TJ Talks for the Crash radio station. This is what number, is it 9 or 10? I've lost count. I've done a lot of shows. As you can see, I can't keep up with a weekly pace. There was never requested to do a weekly pace, but I tried to for a little while, and it's too much. too much. I've got my own YouTube channel, which takes up time and videos, and then I've got other hobbies. And that's why I thought maybe talking about ebbs and flows, because I'm more of a seasonal person. Seasonal meaning there's certain seasons that I excel and want and do better at certain things. For computers, retro computers, where maybe you've got some weather that's outside that's keeping you inside, rather than go out in the blustery rain, blustery snow, freezing temperatures, you've smartened up as you've gotten older, and you prefer to sit by a fireplace with a cup of joe like I've got here, or a shot or two, or a glass of whiskey, something that just is more appealing. And typically during the late fall, winter, early spring, I enjoy my retro and vintage more than being outside doing some of my other hobbies. Now, if you've been listening to this cast or watch my YouTube channel, you know that I do have some other hobbies. In fact, I made a whole video on what things keep TJ ticking. And if you see on the video that will come out afterwards, I'm wiping my eyes. It's a bad allergy day for me today. My left eye is stinging like you guys are throwing hot sand in my eyes. It's not very enjoyable. Stop it. It's very unpleasurable, but I've got to persevere. And that light up there too. It's like the sun is beaming on this bald head in my eyes, and it's very bright. I know I want to turn it off, but then you won't see me at all. So let me take a sip of this. I've got it's an espresso machine, but it's a cappuccino type of drink. What is inside is half regular milk, half soy milk, because that's what we have, sugar, a fake, it's a real sugar, but it's one of those Truvia packets, and whipped cream, and coffee, espresso shots. It's pretty good. Anyway, where was I? Retro, ebbs and flows. So I don't know about you, but for me, I typically play with vintage computers, retro computers. I enjoy them more during foul weather, which means that during the late fall, winter, and early spring, where we typically see our foul weather here in Northern California, means I do more computing. I do more in the house. But that time has come up. I've had a little bit of ebb, or am I flowing away, flowing in? I don't know, but I'm getting a little away from retro at the moment, because the weather is now warming up, which means that the snow melt from the mountains is blistering down into the valleys, heading their way out to the oceans here in California, which means trout are coming alive, and it's time for TJ to go fishing. So, you'll probably see me typically less in the summer, but it varies. Sometimes I'll come on and make a video or a cast like this saying, oh, you're going to hear less from me, and then I do 20 videos. But I really feel that it's about time for me to ebb or flow. Which one is what? Ebbing, flowing. If you're watching the video later on, you see I'm kind of moving left and right. It's one of them. I don't care which one. Take it however you want. In and out. For somebody, out is in. I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, it's fishing time. I need to get out and get my fish on. So typically during the better late spring, early summer, and then into the early fall is when I typically get my fishing on more so. So you may see and hear less of me during that time, but don't despair, because retro is here. Hey, that kind of rhymed. Our Specky Next, Kickstarter 2, is right around the corner. Can you taste it? Can you feel it? For folks that have wanted one for so long, it is almost here, unless some shit hits the fan that I'm unaware of. If all goes as planned, we're supposed to have it this summer. Now, technically, we're in the first week of June right now. So technically, where I am in California, it is not summer. Summer solstice, I think, tips off the real summer where you get naked and you get out there and get sky-clad. If you don't know what sky-clad is, look it up. I already know it because I like exploring and reading about different religions. Anyway, you get naked, you get out, and you do a little summer solstice, not solstice, like solstice? Hey, that's a good name for salsa. Solstice. Come for summer solstice salsa. Hey, maybe I'll have nachos tonight. But so even though summer technically doesn't happen till, what's it, the 20th, 21st, 22nd, someplace around there when the summer solstice hits. In United States, we just had Memorial Day, and typically that weekend announces and starts the first week of summer, really, for getting out, camping. I'm going to wipe my nose, I'm sorry, but allergies. People start getting amped up. Some kids are out of school. School is different now, though. It's weird. We don't have kids, but when I was a youth, we basically started school in September, went all the way. You only had a couple of vacations during that time. There was Christmas and Thanksgiving time where you had a little time off for Christmas and Thanksgiving, but you were pretty much locked into school the rest of the time. So normally in late May, around Memorial Day, school was over. And it was time to just go out and enjoy summer. And then you literally had all summer. You had June, July, and August. You had 3 months of destroying your parents because you're around the house all the time, driving them crazy, doing things you shouldn't be doing. But now it's different. Kids have like a week off here, a week off there, another week off here. But then they do school all at weird times, so they have less of a summer. I don't know if I like that. I like having a good, solid 3 months where you could go through that growth spurt and come back to high school a little bit leaner, a little bit taller, looking for the ladies, they looking at you. Now it's like you've only been gone for a few weeks and you're back to school. I don't know, it's weird. But anyway, all this because of the ebb and flow of retro. Summertime doesn't mean that retro is not here, though, because where you guys are, and I'm pointing at you guys like in the camera, and the video's probably getting all fuzzy now. Over in the United Kingdom and Britain and all those places, can I just call it UK? I know that's probably not right because there's Scotland, Ireland, Wales, Britain, England. I don't know. Somebody explained it to me before, but I don't even know my damn home country for everything. How should I know yours? But anyway, over there, you have all these wonderful trade shows. We have a lot of them here in the United States. But United States is a big place in general. It's not as big as Russia, but it's freaking big. Just California alone, if you were to travel from Northern California to Southern California in a car, you're talking 10, 11, 12, 13-hour drive. Over where you are, you could drive 2 hours and be to a trade show, a retro show, all of the cool shows that you guys have over there during the summertime. I'm a little bit envious because you can hop, skip, and jump in a train, in a car, and be at a trade show. Here, where we live, you have to hop on an airplane, fly, get accommodations, money. All this costs time and money, and I've got limited time and limited money. So I tend not to do these type of retro shows. And to be truthful, the retro shows here in the United States are more tailored for... It's not the same as over there. Where you guys do them, you have a lot of specky action, a lot of Euro computers that are really cool. I mean, we have some of that here in the United States, but I think it's like Ohio has a great show. Is it Ohio? I don't know. There's some cool retro shows around, but I typically don't pillage those. The only retro show that I do every year, and it's technically in fall, in October, is AmiWest in Sacramento, which is a Commodore-based show. And I'm not a Commodorian, I'm not an Amigan, I'm an Atarian, I'm everything else but I do like Amiga, and I have a lot of good friends that go there, so I enjoy kind of one show a year. I wish I was where you guys are, where I could just hop, skip, and jump to all these cool retro shows that have a lot of Sinclair. That would be so fun to do. So during the summertime, I'm betting you guys get your retro on more than DJ does, because I'm out fishing when you guys are in a place playing video games, 8-bit and 16-bit and you name it, having a good time. So I still get my retro vintage on during the summertime, but less so. So I'm doing an ebb and a flow. How about we'll just call ebb and flow is all of it. I'm going through some ebbs and flows right now. So maybe next week I'll be in the mood to play a Specky Next game. Every week I play something, period. So I'm still into it, just not every day. I've got to taper off, and I've got to find time to do some of my other hobbies. I need to get back on my brake work from a Volkswagen bus. That thing's taking forever. I'm so slow. I'm so lame when it comes to that. But my retro, I at least use my Next, even on poor months where I'm out fishing. I bet you I use that more than probably 3/4 of the people out there that own a Next. I'm using my Next at least, I would say at a minimum twice a week, probably more. I'll turn it on every 2 or 3 days. I'll play a game. Often I'll make a video about it. And that's during the slow times. So if you own a Next and you're not using it weekly, shame, shame, shame. No, I don't want to say that, because you've got other hobbies. You've got other life to do and play. But get excited. If you're watching this and don't own a Next yet and have a Next Kickstarter in place, you can taste it. I know you can, because I'm tasting it too, and I can't wait to get it. And typically around that time when I get a new goodie, that re-sparks some of the imagination in me, some of the fun in me, and gets excited about it again. I do need a little kick in the ass every so often. I wake up and breathe certain things. But in terms of hobbies, retro is, and vintage, I love retro and vintage at this point all in the same, because what do you call a Next? Is a Next retro, or is it vintage? I would say it's retro because it's a modernization of a vintage computer, but it's got such a heart of vintage. Whatever you want to call it, it's kick-ass and it's fun. So hopefully by the end of summer, you all have received a Kickstarter too, and you start playing it, which means that I'm going to start watching your videos and your excitement of getting your first Next. That will kick me up the keister and get excited to start doing some more things. Even though technically, even on my, like I said, my ebbs and the flows, even on my low parts, I'm still doing probably a lot more than the most people out there, because I just use the hell out of my Next, and I use vintage gear every week, if not more, and because they're all in my office and I turn them on and I play a quick game. So yeah, I think I'm a pretty good user in general. What kind of user are you? Do you buy and then it sits there forever, and then you turn it on once in a while when some spark hits you? I don't know. Everybody's got different things, but I got to admit that retro and vintage computer does have a hold on me, but I need to let it go a little bit, because I have yet to, I've only fished, not even really fished. It was called throwing a fly in a pond and hoping for the best with a buddy, because he was here on a trip and I wanted to go out and have a good time with him. I have not technically went out and really fished. It's time. And it means that you may see and hear a little less of TJ, both here on the Crash Radio Station and on my YouTube channel. But don't hold me to it, because I've said that before, and then maybe a week or two later, I get in a rhythm of making a video every damn day or every other day, which means 15 to 20 videos a month. I don't want to promise anything. I don't want to say I'm not going to do anything, but needless to say, I'm in a ebb flow situation, and you may hear and see less of me for a little while. But I want to hear from you. So how is your summer going to go? Post down below. Do you have any plans for any shows, retro vintage shows? Do you have some programs you're working on, some games you're working on that you're going to spit out this summer? Are you just waiting in anticipation of your next? Do you have other pokers in the fire? Let me know below. What are you doing summer 2023? It's basically here, even though technically I've got clothes on, so it's not solstice. I'm I don't want to put that vision in your eyes because you want to probably stab them out. Oh, jeez, I don't want to hear it talk about old retro dudes naked. But then some of you might... Anyway, thanks for listening to the Crash Radio. There's fun action on there. You've got Simon that does his periodic game-related casts. Hopefully some other folks start making some casts because that would give us folks a little break too where I don't feel like I have to do it every week. When's the last time I did one? It's been a couple of weeks, 2.5 weeks. So I'm a little slow on this, but again, Ebb Flow. You may hear a little less from me for a little while, but I want to hear from you. So you need to pick up the pace. You need to pick it up where us other folks are leaving it off for the summer. Let us know. Take your camera to these retro shows and just walk around and take a video and go to the booth and say, hey, how are you? Maybe Simon's going to be in a booth of some kind. Or you got Baggers in Space in a booth. Or Michael, or all these people. You probably know the names. There's some wizards. There's some wonderful legends that go to these shows that we love to hear from. We love to see. So hopefully I get some kicks in the keister when you guys post videos and pictures of your shows that you're doing. And I'll see some of you guys in these videos going, oh, I'm going to play a little bit more next this week or a little bit more Atari this week or whatever it is. So thanks for listening to Crash Radio. This will also come on in video form a few days later. So thanks for watching if you're watching this. And I don't know what I'll do for my next one, but maybe I'll be out fishing, hopefully catching some trout. Until next time, grab a drink, have a wonderful summer, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.